Many impressive tomes have been written about the origins of political order, from Aristotle to Francis Fukuyama. Very few of these works recognize that an intimate relationship may exist between the political order between men and women, on one hand, and the political order that develops within the nation-state, on the other. Indeed, for the majority of such works, one looks in vain in the final index of the volume for the entries woman, or even female. Still fewer contemplate a relationship between these two political orders and the resulting stability and resilience of the nation-state. Genealogical invisibility is but one example of how a societal emphasis on the male bond distorts reality, laying the groundwork for insecurity and instability. We propose a theoretical framework suggesting that a sexual political order exists that crosses space and time in its manifestation, an order that is focused on building fraternity through the systematic subordination of women, and that often uses patrilineality to facilitate the creation of that fraternity. We refer to this order in terms of what we argue is an interlocking pattern of institutions, processes, and norms that enforce it. The patrilineal fraternal syndrome we have described, so ubiquitous throughout recorded human history, is alive and well today. In many nations, reliance on male-bonded kin groups for security remains the norm. Indeed, nations might be placed along a spectrum according to how important the security provision mechanism remains, or as Mark Weiner notes, clan societies range from stateless societies known as segmentary lineage systems to modern societies, in which a weak state has difficulty containing the forces of clanism. In some circumstances, they even exist in developed, centralized states. Reliance on the patrilineal fraternal security provision mechanism means that one society is rooted in a fundamentally authoritarian and violent sexual order, and this fact has important consequences for the larger political order, as well as for the stability and resilience of the group or nation-state. We examine those linkages. We look more specifically at the structural goads catalyzing societal instability, created by the syndrome's predisposition for marriage market obstruction, and examine other types of macro-level consequences, including implications for human, economic, and environmental security. In post-syndrome societies, it is true that marriage may no longer be viewed as an important rite of passage for men. In patrilineal fraternal syndrome societies, however, the existence of the patriline absolutely depends on the biological reproduction of the group, and that means legitimate male offspring through the patriline are an essential requirement for the group's continuation. The ability to marry and sire legitimate male offspring thus remains a pressing concern for each and every male member of the patriline. Consequently, marriage will remain one of the most important rites of passage for the achievement of manhood. When we step back and examine the consequences of relying on a patrilineal fraternal system for security provision, we cannot help but notice the dysfunctionality created by that choice. Malcolm Potts and Thomas Hayden put it best. Warfare, terrorism, and their attendant horrors are based on just this sort of inherited predisposition for team aggression, which, whatever its origins, has become a horribly costly and counterproductive behavior in the modern world. The original survival advantage enjoyed by individual males with a predisposition for team aggression has long since been replaced by a major, verging on suicidal, disadvantage.